Today I'm bringing you the story of an 18-year-old boy who falls in love with an adult film star. But when he learns the truth about her through his friends, his life takes a completely unexpected turn. So, without wasting any time, let's begin the story. At the beginning of the movie, we meet a boy named Matthew. He is the top student in his entire high school. Since this is his final year, he realizes that he has spent his entire life focused only on studying and has never really enjoyed life. On the other hand, he watches the other boys and girls at school. Even though many of them barely pass their classes, they still enjoy every moment of their lives. Matthew's two best friends are no different. Just like him, they have spent all their time studying instead of having fun. So the three of them decide that they're done living like this. From now on, they're going to enjoy life, meet girls, and make the most of their senior year. Just then, Matthew notices a group of students sneaking out of class and heading off for a night out with their girlfriends. Wanting to experience the same excitement, he quickly gets into his car and follows them. Meanwhile, those reckless students speed past a police officer, even showing him the middle finger as they drive away. Matthew is right behind them, but the moment he sees the police officer, he gets scared, turns his car around, and heads back home. Later that night, when Matthew goes outside to throw away the trash, he notices a beautiful young woman moving into the house next door. The moment he sees her, he can't take his eyes off her. Excited, he quickly calls his friend Eli to tell him about the gorgeous new neighbor. A few moments later, Matthew looks toward her bedroom window and sees her inside her room. She starts changing her clothes, and Matthew can't help staring. But suddenly she notices him watching. Embarrassed, Matthew freezes in fear as the young woman angrily walks toward his house. He is convinced she's about to tell his parents everything. Just then, his mom and dad call him downstairs. Terrified, Matthew assumes she has already told them what happened. However, when he goes downstairs, he realizes that she hasn't said a word about the incident. Instead, she politely introduces herself and tells the family that she has just moved in next door and wanted to meet her new neighbors. A little later, the young woman takes Matthew for a drive. Matthew immediately apologizes and explains that what happened was an accident and that he didn't mean to invade her privacy. She smiles and says, "Since you saw me, it's only fair that I get to see you too." Then she jokingly tells him to take off all his clothes and stand on the side of the road. She even threatens to tell his parents if he refuses. Having no other choice, the embarrassed Matthew takes off his clothes and stands there. The young woman grabs his underwear, drives away, and leaves him standing there, completely exposed. After teasing him for a while, she returns, lets him back into the car, and laughs about the whole situation. Surprisingly, this awkward incident breaks the ice, and the two begin to become friends. The next day, Matthew takes her out for coffee. He tells her that he has always been the top student in school, and has spent his entire life studying. Because of that, he has never had a real relationship with a girl. Hearing his story, the young woman can't help but laugh at his innocence. Later, while Matthew is sitting in class, he notices Danielle waiting outside in her car. She signals for him to come outside. Without wasting any time, Matthew sneaks out of class and leaves with her. The two spend the entire day together, having fun and enjoying themselves. Danielle had promised to show Matthew all the experiences he had been missing because he had spent his whole life studying. A little later, Matthew introduces Danielle to his two friends. The moment they see her beauty, they are completely stunned. Soon after, all four of them attend the school's prom together. When the other students see Matthew with such a beautiful girl, everyone is surprised. At the prom, a popular student named Kelly takes Matthew aside and starts flirting with Danielle. Seeing this makes Matthew jealous. Unable to hold back his feelings, Matthew walks straight over to Danielle and kisses her in front of everyone. Danielle happily kisses him back, and the two share a romantic moment. The next morning, Matthew arrives late at school. As soon as he enters, Eli rushes over to him and pulls him into the computer lab. Eli shows him a video on the computer. To Matthew's complete shock, the woman in the video is Danielle. He soon discovers that Danielle used to work as an adult film actress. The news completely breaks Matthew's heart because he has already fallen in love with her. Trying to comfort him, Eli says, "So what if she used to be an adult star? That doesn't have to be a bad thing." After thinking about it, Matthew starts believing that maybe Eli is right. That night, Matthew takes Danielle out for a drive and rents a cheap motel room. Danielle immediately understands why he brought her there. She slowly begins to take off her clothes and invites Matthew to come closer. But instead of getting close to her, Matthew brings up the video he saw earlier. As soon as Danielle realizes what he is talking about, she becomes deeply hurt. She explains that she left that life behind a long time ago. She wanted to forget her past and start a new life with Matthew. But Matthew's words remind her of the past she was trying so hard to leave behind. Heartbroken and angry, Danielle walks away, leaving Matthew alone. Matthew can't stop thinking about Danielle. He misses her deeply and regrets the way he treated her. Finally, he gathers the courage to visit her house and apologize for what happened. But when he gets there, he is shocked to see a man named Kelly. Danielle tells Matthew that she has gone back to her old job, and Kelly is her producer. He has come to take her back. Heartbroken, Matthew quietly turns around and starts walking away. Kelly notices him and stops him. He jokingly tells Matthew that if he wants Danielle, he can arrange it for free. Matthew doesn't respond. At that moment, Kelly realizes that Matthew is genuinely in love with Danielle. Instead of making fun of him, Kelly offers to cheer him up. He takes Matthew and his two friends for a ride in his expensive sports car, making them the center of attention at school. Later, Matthew secretly steals his father's ATM card. He even brings Kelly to the bank and introduces him as his father so he can withdraw money from the account. Matthew plans to use the money to take Danielle out for a nice dinner, hoping she'll forgive him. However, the next day, Danielle has already packed all of her belongings and is leaving town with Kelly. Matthew tries his best to stop her, but Danielle simply tells him to take care of himself before driving away. Devastated, Matthew tells his friends everything that happened. Determined to help him, his friends convince him not to give up. They get into the car and take him to see Danielle one last time. The three of them arrive at a large adult entertainment convention where Danielle and several other performers are appearing. As soon as they enter, Matthew starts searching everywhere for Danielle. Eventually, he finds her posing for photographs with fans. The sight breaks Matthew's heart, but he still walks over to her and sincerely apologizes. Danielle ignores him and walks away without saying a word. Matthew follows her, but before he can reach her, Kelly suddenly appears. Kelly drags Matthew into an empty room and starts beating him. He warns Matthew to stay away from Danielle because if she quits her job again, Kelly will lose a lot of money. He even threatens Matthew, saying that if he ever comes near Danielle again, he'll ruin his life. Meanwhile, Matthew's two friends get themselves into trouble after pretending to be famous directors. Their lie is quickly exposed, and an angry boyfriend chases them through the convention. They barely manage to escape and run back to Matthew. Before leaving, Matthew approaches Danielle one last time. He returns the drawing they had made together, says goodbye, and walks away, believing he'll never see her again. A few days later, Danielle suddenly shows up in Matthew's room and asks him to come outside with her. The two of them spend some time together, reconcile, and grow close once again. Before leaving for school, Matthew says goodbye to Danielle, and the two officially become a couple. However, only a short while later, Kelly walks into Matthew's classroom and forces him to come outside. Kelly makes Matthew get into his car and drives him to a remote area deep in the woods. Once they arrive, Kelly brutally beats Matthew. But after seeing how innocent and helpless he is, Kelly pretends to feel sorry for him and hands him a pill, claiming it's a painkiller. Matthew has no idea that the pill is actually a drug, so he swallows it without asking any questions. Kelly then tells Matthew that if he really wants to be with Danielle, he'll have to do one job for him. He takes Matthew to the mansion of a powerful producer and explains that they once started the business together. According to Kelly, the producer betrayed him and became successful on his own. Kelly tells Matthew to sneak into the mansion and steal a valuable award from inside. Believing Kelly's story, Matthew agrees and quietly enters the mansion to search for the trophy. Meanwhile, Kelly secretly calls both the producer and the police, informing them that someone is breaking into the house to steal the award. A few moments later, Matthew finds the trophy, but just as he picks it up, the producer catches him. Matthew immediately grabs the award and runs for his life. He rushes toward Kelly's car, hoping to escape with him. Instead, Kelly gives Matthew the middle finger and drives away, abandoning him. Left completely on his own, Matthew somehow manages to escape from the police and gets away safely. A few days later, Matthew goes back to the bank to withdraw more money from his father's account. To his shock, Miss Mary tells him that there isn't a single dollar left in the account. She also informs him that someone has taken out an additional $2,000 loan in his father's name. Matthew is stunned when he learns that Kelly withdrew all the money earlier that day. Kelly was only able to do this because Matthew had previously introduced him as his father at the bank. Miss Mary warns Matthew that if the loan isn't repaid by Monday, she'll have no choice but to call the police. With nowhere else to turn, Matthew goes to Danielle and tells her everything. After hearing the whole story, Danielle promises to help him. Together, they return the stolen award to its rightful owner and sincerely apologize for what happened. To arrange the money, Danielle agrees to spend 2 hours with the producer in exchange for $2,000, allowing Matthew to repay the debt. With the problem finally solved, Matthew and Danielle stay together and begin living happily ever after, and with that, the movie comes to an end. Please subscribe if you like my narration.